Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome to the podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're talking Bitcoin today because even if you don't own it, you own it. This is crypto in a nutshell, and everything is linked into Bitcoin. Even people who really don't understand cryptocurrency, and most people don't understand cryptocurrency, but even those who just have a passing knowledge of it, realize that it exists, are familiar with Bitcoin. Everybody's familiar with Bitcoin. However, there's kind of a fundamental misunderstanding, and I take the high road on this one because I'm absolutely correct. It's not a store of wealth, even though it's pushed as such. It's not a store of wealth. It's a speculative asset. How can I illustrate this very easily? There's your store of wealth right there. And the farther I scroll this thing out, the crazier you're going to see this chart going up, down, because it's not a store of wealth. It's a speculative asset. Now, if you get your mind around that, then you can start to get an understanding of how to play it. It is, I leverage trade. I do a lot of leverage trading. Now, I don't recommend that you leverage trade, but leverage trading is akin to day trading or just going short, going long. But the idea is that you end up in cash every night. That's simply it, is that you will close out your position. So the price tomorrow doesn't matter. That is more or less the way I play Bitcoin. But I'm a degen. And if this is your first time to the channel and you don't know what a degen is, it is a person who lives out in the DeFi. I do the bulk of my business out in the DeFi. I like alt tokens. I spend most of my time over there because I get the most action over there. But if you are simply intending to buy Bitcoin and just hold Bitcoin, I will argue that you're selling yourself short. There's a lot of opportunities that you can get with Bitcoin, and odds are good you're not taking advantage of them. If you're not doing anything, if you're just buying and holding, then you are exposing yourself to an awful lot of risk for very little upside. Bitcoin's always going to be the king. Until we get a massive paradigm shift in crypto, Bitcoin will always be the king. Bitcoin is leveraged to everything, absolutely everything. So as goes Bitcoin, so goes the market. Now, we're always going to have some outliers. This is there's 10 to 15,000 cryptos now, so you're always going to catch some outliers. But the bulk of the major players are going to do what Bitcoin does. So even if you don't own it, you do. Bitcoin does what it does, but it does it based on market sentiment. Now, I do watch some other folks' videos from time to time, some of the Bitcoin maxis, and listen to the Kathy Woods and some of these folks that are just telling you, don't worry, it's going to be $1 million. I don't see the world in which this is $1 million. It simply does not exist. Let me back that up. If bread is $50,000 a loaf, sure, Bitcoin can be $1 million. You bet. But there is an economic reality that seems to exist around speculative assets. But for some reason, we think because we're in crypto, they don't really apply to us. And they absolutely do. You can ignore the laws of economics, but you can't ignore the results of ignoring those laws. Market sentiment is poopy right now. That's really all it is market sentiment is bad. We are pretending that we live in this insulated crypto bubble, and we absolutely do not. Just because the CPI, Consumer Price Index, just because interest rates are trending down doesn't mean that we are still not just heavily inflated. I said interest rates. I meant inflation. Just because they're trending down doesn't mean that we are still not in a massive position, a lot of inflation. There's what I'm getting at is that there's a lot going on in this market right now. I don't own any. I own a very, very small amount of Bitcoin, so it feels a little bit disingenuous talking about it because I don't own millions of dollars worth of it, and nor would I. But because everything is leveraged against Bitcoin, then I sort of do, and you do as well. Doesn't really matter the token. You're going to be hooked into Bitcoin in one way or another. So just be aware of it. I guess that's what I'm trying to get out on this video, is just be aware of it. Uh, we took some big hits recently. Obviously, I mean, we're down from 30,000 down to 26.7, and I expect more volatility in this. I think we're still on our way down as opposed to up. So I've moved heavy into accumulation mode. I always keep a cash position, and I recommend that you do as well. This is not financial advice. This is just good advice. Always try to keep a rainy day fund handy when you're in crypto. It's a little bit more important here than it is in the standard stock market, but you're gonna need a cash position over here so that you can take advantage of little dips like little dips like this. You need to be able to make your buys, get in and get out. Now, again, I do it from a leverage position, and I'll do it from 10 or 15x because I need to, because the percentage on these moving is just not that much. 1 or 2% is not worth the risk. For you to shove in $20, $50, $100,000 for a 2% gain is just not worth the risk. But that same trade at 10 or 15x, yeah, suddenly it's looking a little bit more interesting and a little bit more worth the risk. So just be aware that there are lots and lots of different ways to play this. Again, I'm not a big holder of Bitcoin, but I am a big trader of Bitcoin. I will take advantage. It gets the most action. That's really all it comes down to. And you're going to need action to move market sentiment. That's really all it comes down to. There's some very basic fundamentals. We talk about those a lot on this channel, where we get into fear of missing out, FOMO, velocity of money, time value of money, all of the other things that are just so boring in the crypto world, but are incredibly important in the crypto world. So we're going to continue to make more of these. If this is your first time to the channel and you made it to the end, if you could, give me a like, give me a share, give me a subscribe. I would absolutely love that. We haven't gotten any subscribers in a while. And if you are thirsting for knowledge, the podcast has a Discord. It's linked right there in the comments below. It's not me, babe. All right, we have just a very good group of very smart traders, very smart investors, and very pragmatic investors. That's really what it comes down to, is pragmatism. You can't lock yourself into a single position in crypto. There's no way. It changes so much. It changes so fast. So keep your head on a swivel. That's kind of what I'm saying on this. Anyway, questions or comments, scott@thepodcast.com. I answer any and all. And until next time, please stay safe and please be smart with your money. Cheers.